My parents refused to watch my twins while I was rushed into emergency surgery. They told me I was just a burden and that Elton John tickets with my sister mattered more. From the hospital bed, I hired a nanny, cut every family tie, and stopped all financial support. 2 weeks later, there was a knock at my door. I'm Natasha Wilson, 33 years old, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the afterthought in my family. My younger sister, Jessica, is the golden child, bathed in my parents' adoration, while I'm left scraping for their scraps of attention. Now, as I face emergency surgery for internal bleeding complications tied to the grief and stress of losing my husband, James, 6 months ago, they can't be bothered to watch their only grandchildren. The pain in my gut is excruciating, but their rejection burns hotter, searing my soul. My father's voice cuts in, colder than the IV drip in my arm. You're becoming a real nuisance, Natasha. We're retired now. We deserve to enjoy our lives without your constant problems. I've been sending them $2,500 every month since they took early retirement 3 years ago. Even after James died, I kept it up, wiring the money despite my own crumbling world. I did it out of love, out of duty, believing family sticks together. How foolish I was. My tears fall silently onto the scratchy hospital blanket, each one a quiet surrender of that naive hope. Valerie, sensing my despair, rests a gentle hand on my shoulder. My friend Olivia is a professional nanny, specializes in childhood trauma. Let me call her for you, she says, her voice a lifeline in this sterile storm. The twins, oblivious to the chaos, stack blocks in the corner, their soft giggles a fragile thread tethering me to hope. They've already lost their father to a drunk driver's recklessness. The thought of them losing me too if the surgery goes wrong, it's a fear that claws at my chest, sharper than the pain in my abdomen. I can't leave them with people who see them as burdens. Yes, please call her, I tell Valerie, my voice cracking but resolute. In that moment, with pain radiating through my body and betrayal crushing my heart, I decide to sever the poisonous ties to the parents who raised me, but never truly loved me. As I hang up, memories flood in, bitter and vivid. My childhood was a gallery of slights, overlooked birthdays, ignored achievements. When I graduated college with honors, my parents barely noticed, too busy fawning over Jessica's role in a local commercial. When I married James, they grumbled about the venue's distance from their home. When the twins were born, they visited once, dismissing Ethan and Emily as too fussy. James was my anchor through it all, his warm brown eyes promising, we'll build our own family, one that knows how to love. And we did, filling our home with laughter and acceptance until that drunk driver stole him away, leaving me to raise our children alone, battling grief so heavy it felt like drowning. Yet, even after his death, I kept supporting my parents. I increased the monthly payments when they complained about inflation, desperate to prove I was better than them, that family meant standing together no matter what. The irony is crushing now. Here I am, bleeding internally, possibly dying, and they can't miss one concert to care for my children. Valerie returns, her voice soft but sure. Olivia will be here within the hour. She's amazing with kids, used to work with trauma victims at the children's hospital. How much will this cost? I ask, worry gnawing at me. Medical bills are already piling up. James's insurance limited in its coverage. Don't worry about that now, Valerie says. Let's focus on getting you ready for surgery. But I am worried. My mind drifts to the $2,500 I'm set to send my parents next week, money that could pay for Olivia's help. The thought ignites something inside me, a spark of self-preservation long extinguished by guilt. When Olivia arrives, she's everything Valerie promised. Kind, professional, instantly connecting with the twins. Ethan hands her his truck, and Emily clings to her giraffe, but smiles shyly. As the hospital staff preps me for surgery, I ask Valerie for my phone one last time. My hands shake, but my resolve is iron. I send 2 messages. The first, to my bank, cancels all future transfers to my parents' account. The second, to them, I will no longer be providing financial support. My children and I deserve better than being your afterthoughts. Don't contact me again. As they wheel me toward the operating room, fear and pain swirl, but beneath it, something new blooms. Freedom. The surgery is successful, but recovery is grueling. I spend 5 days in the hospital, drifting in and out of consciousness, my body weak but my spirit stirring. Olivia stays with the twins, bringing them to my room during the day and taking them to my apartment at night. Her presence is a gift, a reminder that kindness exists beyond the family I was born into. My phone blinks with notifications, 27 missed calls, countless texts from my parents and Jessica. Their messages follow a pattern: confusion, then anger, then desperate pleas about their mortgage. Not one asks about my surgery or the twins. My father's final message is a gut punch. You can't just cut us off like this. We've planned a cruise next month and the tickets are non-refundable. Jessica's texts are different, confused. Mom and Dad said you had a minor procedure. What's going on? Why are they freaking out about money? It hits me. They lied to her, downplaying my emergency to justify choosing a concert over their grandchildren. Still groggy from medication, I send her the truth. The surgery, the risk, their refusal to help. Her response is immediate. Oh my God, Natasha, I had no idea. They said you were being dramatic about a checkup. I would have watched the twins if I'd known. I'm so sorry. I believe her. Jessica isn't cruel, just shaped by parents who taught her that her needs came first. Maybe this will open her eyes. Discharged after 5 days, I make decisions to protect my family. I hire Olivia part-time to help during recovery. I contact a lawyer to draft a will, naming a trusted friend as the twins' guardian, never my parents. I block their numbers, allowing Jessica limited contact as I gauge her sincerity. The $2,500 I'd sent them was nearly a third of my income as a graphic designer. Without that burden, I can afford childcare and start rebuilding the emergency fund drained after James's death. That night, lying in my own bed, the twins asleep across the hall, I feel a tangle of emotions. Guilt for putting myself first, fear of managing recovery with toddlers, but also a budding self-respect, unfamiliar and fragile. Jessica texts, I had a huge fight with Mom and Dad about how they treated you. I'm at a hotel. Can we talk tomorrow? Maybe I'm not as alone as I thought. 2 weeks later, I'm regaining strength, though the incision throbs if I move too fast. Olivia is a godsend, helping with the twins while I work from home. My clients are understanding, and remote work lets me stay close to Ethan and Emily. Jessica visits, bringing meals and playing with the twins. They always said you distanced yourself, she admits one evening as we watch the twins build a block tower. I never realized they were pushing you away. I see a new side to her, one hidden by our parents' manipulation. Then, a knock at my door. Through the peephole, I see my parents, my mother clutching her designer purse, my father's arms crossed, impatience carved into his face. My heart pounds, but I open the door a crack. What do you want? I ask, voice steadier than I feel. We've been so worried, darling, my mother coos, her tone saccharine. You haven't answered our calls. My father cuts in. We need to discuss this ridiculous financial situation. The bank called about our mortgage. We had to dip into our cruise savings. Their audacity steals my breath. No questions about my recovery, no concern for the twins, just money. I'm cutting financial ties, I say. I meant it. My mother's voice rises. We've come to depend on that money, Natasha. We adjusted our lifestyle because of your commitment. My commitment? I echo, disbelief sharpening my tone. I've been sending money out of guilt while you couldn't watch your grandchildren during my emergency surgery. My father's face darkens. We had plans. Plans more important than my children's safety? Than my life? I counter, anger rising. The doctor said I might not survive. Did you even ask? Their silence is deafening. Emily toddles over, clutching her giraffe. My mother bends down, cooing, There's my precious grandbaby. But Emily, unfamiliar with these strangers, hides behind me. They don't know you, I say. You've seen them 3 times in their lives. You chose not to be involved. My mother's face crumples, but I can't tell if it's genuine or manipulation. Without your help, we'll lose everything, she whispers. I lost my husband, I reply. My children lost their father. We survived. You'll survive too. I close the door gently, heart racing but resolve firm. The next morning they return with my Aunt Patty, the family peacemaker. Let's be reasonable, honey, she pleads through the door. Your parents are struggling. They managed their finances for decades before I helped, I reply. They chose early retirement knowing their savings weren't enough. My mother chimes in, We made those decisions because you promised to help. When had I promised lifelong support? It was meant to be temporary, but they'd twisted it into entitlement. I'm recovering from surgery and caring for 2 toddlers, I say. This conversation is over. I walk away, their knocking fading. Later, my father sends a group email to the family, claiming I abandoned them after they sacrificed everything for me. He omits their refusal to help during my surgery, painting me as ungrateful. But the family pushes back. My cousin Michael replies, Uncle Robert, didn't you just buy a new boat? Others message me privately, seeking the truth. Even Aunt Patty calls, appalled after learning the full story. I send a single response to the email thread. I underwent emergency surgery with significant risks. My parents refused to watch my children because they had concert tickets. I'm focusing on recovery and my twins. Support pours in meals, babysitting offers, Jessica's weekly visits. Valerie connects me to a support group for widowed parents, and for the first time since James's death, I feel understood. My parents' finances collapse. Jessica discovers they took a second mortgage for their boat, assuming I'd keep paying their primary one. A month post-surgery, they face foreclosure. They're in panic mode, Jessica says. The bank gave them 60 days to catch up. Their texts grow desperate, my mother admitting. We thought you'd start sending money again after a week. Their assumption that my boundaries weren't real infuriates me. Meanwhile, my life transforms. The support group introduces me to Diana, a real estate agent and widow, who helps me sell my apartment and buy a 3-bedroom house in a family-friendly neighborhood. I start a side business designing memorial websites inspired by James's. My community grows neighbors, support group friends, Jessica. 6 months later, my mother sends a handwritten letter, a genuine apology. I was jealous of your resilience, she writes. We failed you during your surgery. I'm deeply sorry. Jessica confirms they've restructured their finances, selling luxuries and downsizing to a condo. My father, humbled by a health scare, works part-time. I'm skeptical but meet them at a cafe a year post-surgery. They look different, smaller, humbler. My father cries, admitting, I've been a terrible father. My mother says therapy has changed them. I don't forgive instantly, but share photos of the twins, setting boundaries. Short, supervised visits if they prove change. Walking away, I feel no obligation or resentment, just calm assurance. I'm a mother who knows her worth, fierce in protecting her children, clear in her expectations. My parents' change is uncertain, but I've transformed, building a life rooted in love, not duty.